in the world is Penn State going to hire as their next head football coach? That is the topic here on today's show. My name is Harrison Graham. We're going to break down the latest, including a surprise candidate that has emerged as possibly the favorite, plus another interesting name that's been rumored in the mix at Penn State as well, and then a couple of other candidates I want to touch on also. Let's start with two new names to follow. Kalani Sitake, the head coach out of BYU, who's got them on the cusp of a college football playoff appearance. They will take on Texas Tech in the Big 12 championship game. And then Josh Heupel, the head coach at Tennessee. Deep rumors there. Could they poach him from the SEC? We'll talk about those two guys and a few more names here in just a moment. But this video is going to go on two of our channels here at Chat Sports. For Verts, which is my personal channel here at Chat Sports, where we cover the NFL and college football, and Chat Sports, our main YouTube channel, which we cover the NFL, college football, NBA, all sports over there. A little subscriber battle. So if you're watching on 4Verts, want to take down Chat Sports on this video, hit that subscribe button. Vice versa. If you're watching on Chat Sports, want to take down 4Verts, subscribe. Or if you want to be a supporter of both, subscribe to both channels. We got you covered every single day with the latest sports coverage. Okay. Kalani Sitake, is he the new favorite? Some betting markets have suggested so, and got to be careful with the betting markets with coaching searches, but there's been a lot of buzz in the last 48 hours that BYU's Kalani Sitake could be the guy for Penn State. Now, Alex Markham, who covers college football, tweeted this out. If the numbers I just heard Penn State is willing to give Kalani Sitake are true, there's no way in hell BYU is matching it. I need more confirmation because I was just told it's in the 8 figures yearly. Wow. 8 figures, that means $10+ million per year. And if you're Kalani Sitake and that's on the table, I know you're a BYU alum. I know you played at BYU. That is going to be hard to turn down if BYU can't get in the ballpark of that number. Now, here's the problem. Sitake is a BYU alum. He is very loyal to that university. And like I said, they are on the cusp of the college football playoff. So how long is Penn State willing to wait? You would think they would be willing to wait until the end of Saturday if Sitake is their guy. But then what if BYU wins? If BYU wins, they are guaranteed in the college football playoff. If they lose, they're probably out with how crowded the college football playoff picture is, but there's still a world where they could get in. My point is if they make the CFP, I don't think Penn State is going to let Sitake coach out the CFP and then bring him on board, kind of like LSU with Ole Miss. Like, they're not going to wait on Lane Kiffin to coach the CFP. Like, no, you're either coming or you're not. Penn State's not going to wait on Kalani Sitake, given the status of their program. And Kalani Sitake, as an alum, he's not walking away from the opportunity to coach the Cougars in the college football playoff. So this could be a wait-and-see situation. If they lose Saturday and they don't get into the CFP Sunday, maybe he's their guy. If they win, maybe they pivot elsewhere. If they don't hire a coach before Saturday, I think we have to take Sitake as a serious candidate here. What about Josh Heupel? On the flip side, Tennessee season's obviously done. They're out. They're 8-4. I mean, they'll have a bowl game coming up, but bowl games don't matter anymore with this stuff. If you're not in the CFP, there's been some deep internet rumors. Could they go after Heupel? Now, Chris Lowe, who's very tapped in via On3 Sports, said, I have not heard Josh's name at Penn State among anybody that I believe or trust. I think it's a popular name to throw out there. Penn State is probably in a position now where they got to have somebody else that's had some success who is established. I will say this. Heupel is kind of the anti-Penn State historically, and what do I mean by that? I mean that Penn State, when you think of Penn State football, Joe Paterno, even the last few years of James Franklin, physical at the point of attack, good in the trenches, not exactly potent offensively. Heupel's kind of the opposite. His teams are at times considered not the toughest, but spread it out, explosive offensively, high octane passing attack. So, you can kind of take that as a good thing or a bad thing if you're a Penn State fan. If they brought in Heupel on the good side, be like, well, we're going completely against what we've done. Let's try something new. Let's bring a high octane offense into the Big Ten. On the flip side, does that translate to the Big Ten in big games? Because, you look at Ohio State, you might say, well, they're a spread it out team. And yeah, they do that offensively. Well, number one, they get the best receivers in the country every year. Number two, I don't know. I watch Ohio State. They're pretty damn physical and tough, right? I wouldn't, get that confused with the Josh Heupel team. So I'm not sure there's any legs to these rumors. I think Heupel would be a good, a not great hire for Penn State. As far as Kalani Sitake goes, that's pretty bold to bring in the BYU coach if you're Penn State. Like, you would not win the press conference and the headlines doing that, but he's also done a damn good job at BYU, who does not have the resources that Penn State does. Who is a better candidate for Penn State? Type KS for Kalani Sitake or JH for Josh Heupel? I mean, I those BYU teams under Sitake, that feels more like Penn State football, but it's also kind of a out there hire. I don't know. If I'm a Penn State fan, I don't think I'm doing cartwheels if either of these guys are my head coach. There's one guy I would hire, and I will tell you who that is coming up in just a little bit. But today's show is sponsored by Turtle Beach, the #1 brand in gaming headsets and accessories. December is here, and 'twas the night before Christmas, and under the tree, a gift was waiting, one that would change every game from then on. Remember what it felt like to unwrap your very first headset, that joy, the thrill of plugging it in and stepping into a whole new world? Get that same experience, or give that same experience this holiday season with the all-new Turtle Beach Gen 3 Stealth 700 headset. This is more than just a gift. It's the ultimate throwback to those holiday mornings spent gaming from dawn to dusk, but this time it's better. No more tiny mics or muffled sound, just crystal clear audio, immersive surround sound, and an insane 80-hour battery life that keeps the fun going long after the Christmas lights come down. I've personally used Turtle Beach's headsets and other accessories for years when I play video games, whether it's a sports game and feeling like you're in the stadium or games like Call of Duty or Fortnite. I'm ahead of the curve thanks to Turtle Beach. Get the ultimate immersive gaming experience with Turtle Beach today. For a limited time only, head to turtlebeach.com. Use our code CHAT. You can also go to turtlebeach.com/chat to get 10% off your entire order. That's turtlebeach.com/chat or code CHAT to get 10% off. Don't delay. Get the perfect gift now. Happy holidays from Turtle Beach. What about Brian Daboll? So Brian Daboll has kind of been on the outside looking in terms of the headlines of who Penn State can hire, but I would say he's gained some steam largely just because, like, Florida has John Summerall now, Lane Kiffin's at LSU. Like, these jobs have filled up. Ole Miss just promoted Pete Golding. Like, there's no real headliner jobs left open other than Penn State. Brian Daboll, Northeast guy, wouldn't have to relocate very much, and he was Nick Saban's offensive coordinator at Alabama in 2017. Daboll also got his coaching start under Saban at Michigan State in the 90s, and Nick Saban gave a pretty strong endorsement of Brian Daboll. He said he is a very good coach. He's a bright guy. He's a good recruiter. He relates well to the players. He's a good teacher. He's a good offensive mind. He'll be able to put a good staff together. I think that would be an outstanding hire. And I do think that last part, like his connections both in college, but especially in the NFL, that's a pretty strong sales pitch in recruiting. Like, hey, we got NFL coaches in the building here. I've won a national championship as an offensive coordinator with Nick Saban in 2017. I've coached in the NFL. He's also helped a lot of quarterbacks develop. Jalen Hurts and Tua at Alabama. Josh Allen with the Bills took off once Brian Daboll got there. Now, I think Josh Allen probably works it out regardless, but still, Jackson Dart's been playing some pretty good ball this year under Brian Daboll before they fired him. Even Daniel Jones, that first year in the Giants, he played well enough where they extended him. Now, that obviously fizzled, injuries, poor play, etc. But Brian Daboll's a smart offensive guy. Like, he knows offensive football, and I think he would bring juice to that program as an offensive mind, right? And, you know, when you think Penn State historically, you don't really think offense. You think defense, physicality, toughness, but there's always meat left on the bone offensively. I think Brian Daboll would bring all of that. Now, a guy who's never been a head coach in college football, it's always a risk. Like, you don't know how it's going to play out. But again, at this point in Penn State's search, like, you don't have like these clear, obvious options. Like, even though Lane Kiffin's kind of a scumbag for LSU, it's probably the best option out there, right? Like, what's Penn State's best option? Like, I would hire Brian Hartline. These are some other names linked to the job, the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. But I understand the hesitation there. First-time head coach. Brent Key at Georgia Tech. I think he's a solid option. That's a big jump. Terry Smith, the interim thing. The players are behind him. Some of the fans. I get weary of the interim thing, making a permanent job. I know it worked for Daboll at Clemson, but Terry Smith is 56 years old. Daboll at the time was like 35, whatever. So I think that's a different situation. I would hire Brian Hartline. He would be my top guy. He's an excellent recruiter. This year, he's been the play caller for Ohio State as he finally got the OC gig. Has done pretty damn well. Julian Sayin balling out in that offense. He would immediately get better offensive skill talent at Penn State with his ability to recruit than they've ever had. He can develop wide receivers better than any coach in the country. Last I checked, Penn State's not pumping out big-time NFL wide receivers left and right. They've had a few, but nothing compared to Ohio State. Is it a risk? Yes. But at this point, he's an elite recruiter. He's a young guy. He's well-connected. He's been around some big-time coaches at Ohio State. He's learned under Urban Meyer. He's learned under Ryan Day. He's climbed the ladder there. He's been loyal. Like, I would do it, man. And if they wanted to, they could keep Jim Knowles as the defensive coordinator, who was the DC at Ohio State last year when they won the national championship. So that could be kind of a comfort thing for him. You keep Jim Knowles on staff. I think there's a lot of appeal to Brian Hartline. Yeah, when you're a big-time program, first-time head coach, it's always risky. Everybody that's ever been anybody was a first-time head coach at some point. I think I would take that chance if I was Penn State. Like, would I rather go Brian Hartline or Kalani Sitake? And I like Kalani Sitake. I don't know if that's a geographic fit, though. Brian Hartline's been in the Big Ten for his whole life, as a player, as a coach, etc. I think I would hire Brian Hartline, and then I'd probably have Brian Daboll number 2. I'd go with one of those two guys. Who will Penn State hire? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comment section below who the next head coach will be for Penn State. My name is Harrison Graham. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Whether you're watching on Verts or Chat Sports, or if you want to support both shows, subscribe to the channel or channels. We'll see you guys soon.